sent Satan's servant. Exterior, Katie's house, day. Opening credits play throughout the following sequence. A modest house sits on a quiet suburban street with a cul-de-sac. Katie, a relatively innocent teenage girl, pulls up to the side of her house in her car. She checks her phone and sees a text from her mom. I'm heading out to dinner with Miss Booker tonight. Don't wait up for me. She exits the car and approaches the front door, which has an electric password lock on it. She inputs the code and enters into her home. She leaves her keys on the counter and walks into her room. Across the street, a mysterious figure in a dark car appears to have been watching her and has the house's passcode scrawled in a note. Interior, Katie's house, night. Katie is lying in her bed going through TikToks. She puts her phone away and turns off the lamp on her bedside table. Then, a car door closes and she hears footsteps outside. She can't tell who it is. Katie turns her light back on and listens carefully and hears this person type the code into the door. It unlocks. Katie slowly gets out of bed and opens the door to her room. She begins walking down the hall toward the kitchen.
Who's there? Who's there?
Wait, Carlos, which draft of the script do you have?
Hello?
No response. Katie continues walking down the hall slowly.
I have the first draft.
Still no response. Katie stops. She realizes that something isn't right. She peeks her head into the kitchen and doesn't see anyone. She creeps into the kitchen and grabs her car keys, constantly scanning for the intruder. Katie puts her keys between her fingers to create a makeshift weapon. She glances towards the door and doesn't see anyone, so she starts heading back towards it. But Ski Mask Man, the intruder who's wearing a ski mask and has black voids where his eyes would be, steps in front of her and tries to choke her with his forearms. Katie uses her key fist to punch Ski Mask Man in the face, drawing some of his blue blood. Ski Mask Man lets out an inhuman shriek and stumbles backward, letting Katie go. Katie, grossed out by the blood, drops her keys and runs out the front door. Ski Mask Man, now recovered, follows her with slow, measured steps. Exterior, Katie's house, night. Katie runs out of her house, but trips and falls after looking over her shoulder. She scrambles up and gets to her car. She reaches for her keys, but realizes that she left them inside. She starts to run down the wide street next to her house. Ski Mask Man calmly gets into his car and turns it on. Exterior, El Cerrito Street, night. Katie is running down the street barefoot at full speed, but with a limp due to her previous fall. Ski Mask Man's car pulls onto the street and quickly begins to gain on her. There's a broken piece of glass on the road in front of Katie, but she hasn't noticed it yet. She looks over her shoulder to see where Ski Mask Man is and steps on the glass. Katie falls to the ground in agony, and Ski Mask Man parks his car in front of her. Katie is helpless, exhausted from the running. She feebly steps backwards as Ski Mask Man approaches her. No, please.
Stop letting her on the slack with the actual shit.
Carlos, just say no, please, and I'll send it to you in a sec.
No, please. I'm also Ski Mask.
Ski Mask Man doesn't hesitate as he brings a chloroform rag to her face and carries her unconscious body back to the car. Reveal, title, fade to black. Exterior, sidewalk near party house, night, 1 week later. James, a somewhat awkward teenage boy wearing a t-shirt and jeans, and Tyler, his more charismatic friend, are walking down a dark, suburban street. James has a drawstring bag on his back.
Do you think anyone will even show up tonight? You know, what happened to Katie? I mean, we're going. But yeah, it's definitely gonna have a different vibe.
I feel like there probably won't be as many girls as usual.
Yeah, but let's be real. It's usually mostly dudes there anyways. But yeah, now that there's a psycho murderer out there, girls probably aren't gonna be rushing out to go get fucked up with a bunch of hormone-filled teenage dudes.
You really think Katie was murdered? She might have just run away.
That's cap. None of her friends have heard anything about her being unhappy or wanting to leave. Also, she just isn't the kind of girl to do that, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of girls who run away from home, do you think Jane's gonna show up tonight?
I mean, I doubt it, because she just got out of rehab, but she damn near would.
Loud rap music plays in the distance.
Is that it?
James gestures to the house the music is coming from.
Think so. You ready to get shit-faced?
Do I have a choice?
Exterior, party house backyard, night. James and Tyler enter the backyard where the party has already started. Loud rap music is blaring through some speakers. James feels overwhelmed while Tyler goes around dapping everyone up. To James, it seems like Tyler knows everyone there. Tyler returns to James.
I'm gonna make something to get us caught up with these dudes.
Tyler gestures to some of his friends and then goes to grab a drink from the drink table. James looks for a familiar face, but doesn't find one. Then, Tyler returns with 2 drinks in solo cups. He hands one to James. James eyes it suspiciously.
What's in it?
It's a rum and coke with a little something extra.
James takes a sip and his face peppers up.
That's disgusting.
Well, the more you drink, the better it tastes.
James sips it again and peppers less. He acknowledges that Tyler may have been right. He takes another, longer sip. Montage of them partying. A non-diegetic rap song plays over the montage. James and Tyler play beer pong against 2 other guys. There's a small crowd watching them. James looks like he's enjoying himself. He hits the game-winning shot and everyone cheers. Then they're talking to some people. The dialogue is inaudible. James keeps trying to join the conversation, but he keeps getting cut off. One of the guys who cut him off tells a funny joke and everyone laughs, except James. They're taking shots and chugging beers. Then Tyler gets pulled away from James to go play beer pong with another guy. James tries to follow him, but then someone bumps into James, causing him to spill his drink on his shirt. End of montage. The music fades away, and ambient party noise returns. James goes up to the elevated porch and walks up to a partygoer pouring themselves a drink.
Hey, do you know where the bathroom is?
Yeah, just go inside and take a left, and it'll be right on your right at the end of the hall.
Thanks.
James navigates the halls and finds himself at what he thinks is the bathroom. He opens the door and then sees that someone is in there.
Oh shit, sorry.
James quickly closes the door, but not before the person in there recognizes him. A voice comes from inside the room.
James? Was that you?
James is a little confused, but responds.
Yeah? Who's that?
The door opens. Jane, one of James's best friends since elementary school, is standing there.
It's me.
Jane!
James is so relieved to see someone he knows that he forgets about the beer on his shirt and hugs her.
I missed you so much.
Oh, dude, why are you wet?
Oh,
They stop hugging.
oh my bad. This dude out there spilled his beer on me. I'm just trying to get the stain out.
James wets a towel and starts stabbing the stain. Jane watches skeptically.
That's not gonna come out. Do you have a change of clothes?
I got a hoodie in my bag.
James takes off his bag and places it on the sink next to Jane's. He notices that there is a fairly empty bottle of vodka on the sink. Jane notices him looking at it.
So, rehab. How was that?
James takes off his shirt and quickly puts his hoodie on while Jane talks.
It was actually pretty chill. I made a few friends and it's a nice break from everything.
Jane grabs the bottle and pours herself a drink.
Looks like you kind of missed the point of the whole experience.
He gestures to the bottle.
That was never the point for me. I just needed some time.
You guys okay now?
Definitely not, but it's whatever, you know?
I feel that. Did I interrupt anything?
No. I'm glad you found me. I was just in here because it's quiet. When I was out there, it felt like everyone was staring at me.
I mean, to be fair, you're damn near the only girl at this party.
Yeah, true. Give it a month. Everyone's just hella paranoid right now because of Katie.
Yeah, what do you think happened to her?
Jane's phone starts ringing.
Yeah, no, I'll be right out. I gotta go. My ride's here.
Where are you going?
On your business.
Jane grabs her stuff and gets ready to go.
Oh, wait. Before I head out, let me get a shot for the road.
I bet.
James holds up the nearly empty bottle of vodka. Jane puts down her bag and grabs a cup from the ground near them. James pours a big shot into it.
What's the toast?
Jane thinks for a few seconds.
Just pressing your issues with alcohol.
Clunk.
James makes a clinking sound as he bumps his bottle on her cup. She downs her shot and James takes a swig from the bottle.
Okay, now I really have to go.
Hey, it's been good.
It has.
Jane leaves the bathroom, forgetting her bag. James sits there by himself with the bottle of vodka and takes a long swig. Fade to black. Interior, party house, night. James is asleep in the corner of the bathroom. Tyler is knocking on the bathroom door.
James, wake up. We gotta go. The cops are here.
James is very drunk and struggles to get up. He opens the door.
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Tyler helps James up.
We gotta leave through the back to be safe.
Tyler turns around.
No homo, though.
James notices Jane's bag on the counter.
Oh shit, bro. Jane left her bag here.
Grab it. We can get it to her later.
James grabs the bag.
Hey, let's go.
They go through the house and leave through the back door. Exterior, party house, night. As they exit, Tyler checks for cops but doesn't see any. Then they sneak around to the front of the side entrance. When they get there, they see a few people waiting around for rides. Tyler leaves James to go up to one of them. James, who has had way too much to drink, is still orienting himself. Tyler comes back to him.
Sounds like it was a false alarm. Someone saw a cop car drive past, but they were going somewhere else.
Swear? What's the move now?
I don't know. At this point, the party's pretty damn near dead.
Did you see Jane?
Nah, bro, she left.
Oh shit. Yeah, you're right. What do we do with her bag then?
We could just drop it off at her house or something.
Yeah. That's damn near the move. A little walk sounds hella nice right now.
I mean, I was thinking we could, go stop by tomorrow, but sure, let's go on a mission.
They start walking. Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. James and Tyler are walking down a dark suburban street. Tyler is about 5 feet ahead of James. Tyler's recounting his experience at the party with great enthusiasm.
And then I took the fattest strip from his bong and I was out, bruh. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like a majestic experience. I was just vibing and then
Tyler trails off as he sees a cop car in front of Jane's house. James catches up to him and notices the cops.
Holy shit.
that's Jane's house, right?
Yeah, do you think something happened to her?
Tyler notices a cop leaving the house.
Get down.
They crouch. The cop doesn't see them.
I really am not trying to deal with cops right now.
Me neither, bro.
Did Jane seem normal at the party?
I think so, but she left kind of quick. She said someone was giving her a ride.
It was probably her new man's.
She's dating someone?
Yeah. You know Brian?
Which one?
Brian Daniels.
Nah.
Well, he's the plug, and apparently they met in rehab and they got hella close.
Who is he? Is he dangerous?
Not really. He's a homie. He's kind of old to be dating her though. I don't think it's illegal, but it's close. It's like hella close. But he doesn't really seem like the kidnapping type to me.
Okay, but the cops are at her house, so something has clearly gone wrong.
True. Once the cops leave, let's go in and see if she's home.
Yeah, I bet her mom just freaked out again because she snuck out to go to a party like 3 days after getting back from rehab.
Yeah, probably, but it's worth checking.
Yeah, I guess.
Exterior, Jane's house, night, later. James and Tyler are both sitting in the same spot as before. They are on their phones. They look like they've been waiting for a while. James looks up. He sees that a cop is getting into their car to leave.
Looks like the cops are leaving. Let's go.
Hold up. Give me the bag.
Tyler grabs Jane's bag and puts it in James's drawstring bag.
If it's just her mom in there, we got to be discreet with the bag. We don't want to get in her any trouble if there's anything bad in there.
All right, yeah, good idea.
James and Tyler come up to the door. James knocks on the door. Miss Booker, the mother of Jane, answers. She appears to be distressed.
Oh, hi, boys. It's a little late for a visit, isn't it?
Hey, Mrs. Booker, we were just wondering if we could say hi to Jane real quick. Is she around?
Oh, well, actually, I'm very sorry, but Jane has actually gone missing. It's only been a few hours, but she just got back from rehab, so I've been trying to keep her on a tight leash. She's probably okay, but I just want her home tonight.
Oh, geez. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Booker. That's horrible. I'm sure she's fine. Maybe she doesn't even realize you're looking for her.
She hasn't been returning any of my calls. It's just not like her, at least. It's not like Jane that came back from rehab. It seemed to me that she was all better. She wasn't like her old self. She was ready to move on, and now she's just gone with no explanation. It's just so troubling, especially after everything that happened with that poor Katie girl. I'm just really worried right now.
Us too. Is there anything we can do to help?
Actually, yeah, the cops wanted me to ask her friends a few questions. If you guys can come in, it'll only take a few minutes.
Yeah, sure. We can do that, right?
James, unsure of what to say, looks to Tyler.
Yeah, all right. But we probably don't know anything you haven't already figured out.
Uh, that's okay. It won't take long.
Interior, Jane's house, night. James and Tyler enter the house and sit down at the dining room table. Mrs. Booker sits across from them.
Okay, so I take it you guys haven't seen Jane recently. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, right?
Well, actually,
Tyler kicks James under the table.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't seen her since she left for rehab.
Were you going to say something, James?
no. Well, yeah, actually.
Tyler looks worried.
I was gonna say I visited her once in rehab.
Ah, yes, of course. You and Jane were always so close, but you haven't talked to her since she got back, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you know her new boyfriend? I think his name is Brian.
No, we don't. I think I heard of him, but we don't know him personally.
He seems like trouble to me. I've heard Jane on the phone with him. He just doesn't treat her with the respect she deserves.
What do you mean?
After their calls, I can always tell because Jane will suddenly seem anxious and distracted. Do you know this Brian's last name? I wasn't able to identify him to the police, but he seems like a prime suspect to me.
I feel like it starts with a B, but I really couldn't say.
Mrs. Booker looks to James to see if he knows.
I wish I did, but Jane hasn't even mentioned her to me.
Anyways, what's the talk like in your circles about Katie's disappearance? What are people your age saying?
No one really knows what to make of it. Everyone definitely seems on edge, though. Do the cops think this is connected to Katie's disappearance?
I mean, it would only be logical for them to be connected. Two girls disappearing within a week of each other in this town. It just makes sense.
That's definitely true. But it is important to remember that Katie and Jane are two very different people.
How so?
James' heart starts beating really loud. He can't focus on anything. His night of drinking is coming back to haunt him.
I mean, they just live different kinds of lives. You know what I'm talking about, James? James?
James, are you okay?
I
James stops talking and runs down the hall to the bathroom, shuts the door, and throws up into the toilet.
fuck.
Ooh.
Miss Booker knocks on the bathroom door.
Are you okay, James?
Yeah, I'm fine, Miss Booker. I'm just feel a little sick.
James starts panicking that she knows that he's drunk.
Fuck. I gotta get out of here.
Then he hears an extremely muffled scream from downstairs. It's followed by a loud thud. James thinks for a second and then brushes it off. He rinses off his face and opens the bathroom door. When he leaves the bathroom, Ms. Booker is standing right by the door with a glass of water, startling James.
Oh, so sorry, stream difficulties. I shouldn't. You really got to be careful. Do they hear me on the stream?
I'm sorry.
With alcohol, it's obvious that you two have been drinking.
James hesitantly takes the water from Miss Booker. She starts walking back to the table where Tyler is.
Did you know that Jane, like her father before her, was an alcoholic? That's why she went to rehab. I used to think I knew her. I had a whole plan for how to raise her right. She was going to be perfect. Then after her father left, I tried to make sure she wouldn't follow in his footsteps, but I learned that she had begun drinking. Her alcoholism had eroded away the girl I raised.
James and Tyler aren't sure what to do. James thinks he knows how to defuse the situation.
I'm really sorry, Mrs. Booker. I didn't mean to.
They still can't hear me anyway.
Oh, they can hear him now. They can hear Blake.
Wait, they can?
That's my friend. Yeah. Yeah, I told my friend
Okay.
to join.
The static is back. Okay.
Well,
fuck.
Well, static or not hearing. I take static over not hearing.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm recording it on Zoom,
because
so we'll have a
it's-
better
it's-
quality
There's
thing
these
for
two
replays.
inputs. I don't know what the heck is up with both of them, but that's why there was an echo at the beginning of the stream. I didn't plan for this. So were you guys with her when she started drinking? Did you guys pressure her?
No, Miss Booker, that wasn't us. We would never do that.
Were you gonna get her drunk? That why you came here tonight?
No, absolutely not. Hey, James, I think it's time for us to head out.
Tyler stands up and looks to James.
Yeah, I think it is. Our parents are probably expecting us home soon.
James puts down his glass of water and stands up.
Wait, boys. I still have more questions.
Sorry, we really have to go.
They hurriedly exit through the front door. James shuts it behind them. Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. They leave the house and walk briskly away, going back the way they came.
Fuck, bro, that was hella sus. You good?
Yeah, I feel better now. When I was in the bathroom, did you hear anything weird?
Like what?
I think I heard Jane downstairs. She sounded distressed.
I think I know what you mean. I feel like I heard someone too, but why would Jane be missing if she's just down in her room?
I don't know, man. It definitely sounded like her, though.
Doesn't she have a sister?
James thinks.
Oh, shit. Yeah, she does.
It was probably just her sister then. I bet Jane's just chilling with Brian. I'm gonna try calling him just to make sure though.
Tyler pulls out his phone and calls Brian.
Hey, Brian, this might be.
Tyler gets cut off by Brian. Then, after saying something quickly, Brian hangs up. Tyler is confused.
He said it wasn't a good time and then he hung up on me. He's never hung up on me before. He sounded different too, like more serious than usual.
Do you think he could be hurting Jane?
I don't know, like probably not, but maybe.
If he's hurting her, we gotta act quick. Where does he live?
He's like 3 miles from here. He lives close to the school.
We gotta get there now. Are you good to drive?
Hell nah, bro. I'm faded as fuck. This ain't the move. Can we just go back to my place and then figure this out in the morning?
No, Jane could be dead by the morning. We got to get there now.
Okay, but how are we gonna get there?
We can call an Uber.
Hell no, bro. I'm broke. Can we just walk?
No, that'll take too long. We could run though.
Fuck it. Let's go.
They jog off. Exterior, Brian's house, night. The house is dark with no signs of life inside. A jogger runs down the street. Then a car pulls up and parks in front of the house. Tyler and James get out of it and thank their Uber driver.
Thanks for the ride.
You're welcome. Stay safe.
The car pulls away.
You better pay me back for half that ride.
Yeah, I will. But can we focus on why we're here?
I just don't want you to forget like last time. And please remind me, why are we here anyway? Is it because you want to save Jane, the helpless damsel, so that she'll love you, your heroic savior, forever?
No, I don't like her like that. This is about doing what's right.
Wouldn't calling the cops also be doing what's right?
James doesn't know how to respond.
Listen, we're here, and in the interest of time, we might as well investigate. Besides, you've seen all those movies where the cops can't spot a crime even when it happens right under their nose. We got to get our hands on some irrefutable evidence.
Exactly. Let's go.
Tyler goes to knock on the door, but James stops him.
Wait, did you hear that?
Tyler listens. He can hear a woman screaming from inside.
Oh, shit.
If we knock, we'll give ourselves away. Is there a back door?
I don't know. Probably. Let's go check.
They walk quietly around the house into the backyard. There's an unlocked door there, and Tyler quietly opens, and they enter the dark house. Interior, Brian's house, night. James and Tyler enter the house. A dog sees them and starts jumping all over James. James starts panicking, but Tyler quiets it down before it gets too loud.
Do you think Brian heard us?
No, his dog is crazy. That bro will bark his head off every time his car passes. It's insane.
James grabs a large knife from the kitchen.
You want a knife?
Yeah, sure.
James goes back to the kitchen and brings a significantly smaller knife to Tyler.
Real mature.
I swear that's all there was.
James and Tyler walk through the house, approaching the screaming sound. They see a door with light coming from underneath it. They approach the door and stop. Tyler looks to James to see if he's ready, and James nods. Tyler busts the door open. Inside the room, Brian, a tall 20-year-old, and Jane are chilling on the couch watching a loud horror movie, the source of the screaming. When James and Tyler bust open the door, Jane and Brian get extremely startled. Jane screams, and they hurriedly move away from James and Tyler. Brian steps in front of Jane to protect her. Then Brian recognizes Tyler, and his demeanor changes.
What the fuck are you doing here?
Let her go.
Tyler suddenly realizes what's going on.
Shit. My bad, Brian.
Tyler turns to James.
James, he didn't kidnap her. They were just hanging out.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, what are you guys doing here?
We thought he kidnapped you and we were going to try and save you.
Brian laughs.
Oh no, I'm fine.
Is this because I hung up on you, Tyler?
Yeah, that was part of it.
There were cops at your house, Jane. Your mom said you were missing and we got worried because we didn't want you to end up like Katie.
Oh, you guys are so far off. Why were you talking to my mom?
We went to your house to bring you your bag.
James pulls Jane's bag out of his drawstring backpack and offers it to her.
Told you I left it at the party.
Jane grabs the bag.
Okay, well, you guys are forgiven for interrupting our movie night because we really needed that bag.
What's in it?
Jane digs through the bag.
Everything I need to get away from my mom.
She pulls out a flip phone.
Is that a burner phone?
Yeah, Jane's mom tracks her iPhone, so she just keeps it on airplane mode when we're together. I got that for her, so she can have a working phone while not being tracked by her mom.
What else is in there?
My Hydra, flashlight, and some things from home I wanted to have, if you know what I mean.
So you're moving in with Brian?
Nah, I didn't really like that. Yeah.
She nudges Brian. They both smile.
I just had to get away from my mom for the night because ever since I came back from rehab, she's been like more psycho than normal.
Yeah, we kind of got that vibe when we were talking to her.
Did she mention to you that she's converted to Satanism? And not the like hipster fucking freedom of religion kind of Satanism. Like she just went full Hail Satan, let me drink goat blood and shit.
She did not mention that.
Oh, and there's a very high chance that she was gonna try and do a satanic ritual on me tonight.
How do you know?
Jane looks like she has quite the response ready. Interior, Jane's house. Flashback. Jane is duct taped to a chair at the dinner table. Her mom enters from the kitchen with 2 plates, each with a container of takeout sushi on it.
Dinner is served.
Mrs. Booker sets the food down on the table and then sits and starts eating from her plate.
Are you gonna untie me, or do I just get to stare at my food?
Mrs. Booker finishes chewing and acknowledges Jane.
Patience is a virtue, my daughter. You'll get your food, but first I need to eat. I've worked up quite an appetite setting up for your big day.
Mrs. Booker goes back to eating.
Ah, yes, my big day. The one where you tie me up and tell me nothing about what the hell is going on.
Mrs. Booker puts down her chopsticks and stands up.
Think of it as your final step of rehabilitation.
Mrs. Booker walks over to Jane.
I'm clean, Mom. Whatever this is, it isn't necessary.
Mrs. Booker uses her chopsticks to pick up Jane's sushi and brings it up to Jane's mouth. Jane stares at the sushi but doesn't bite.
I'm sure you think you're clean, but you still reek of your past transgressions. Now open up.
Jane doesn't open her mouth.
Tonight you will be granted the gift of a fresh start, a second chance at the life you were destined for. You're gonna need your energy, so open up and let's get this over with.
Jane opens her mouth and lets her mom put the sushi in. Then she spits it back at her mom.
Fuck that. Fuck you.
Mrs. Booker rises up.
How can you treat your mother like this after everything I've done for you? I've sacrificed the past 18 years of my life so you could grow to be a woman I could be proud of, and now it feels like you're actively trying to derail your entire life. I know you're a rebellious teen, but you need to understand that as your mother, I know what's best for you.
Oh, and what's best for me is tying me to a chair and sacrificing me to the devil or whatever the hell you have planned with your Satan buddies tonight.
If only you could realize your potential, I wouldn't have to do everything for you.
Miss Booker goes down the hall and into her office. Jane starts wiggling her wrists out of the duct tape, but it's too tight. Her mom enters with more duct tape.
I can't have you messing tonight up with that mouth of yours.
Miss Booker rips off a piece of tape and goes to put it over Jane's mouth, but is stopped at the last second.
Wait.
What?
I need to pee.
Miss Booker thinks for a second.
Can you hold it?
No.
Miss Booker thinks more.
Okay. But I'm gonna have to watch. I just can't risk you running off like before.
I understand.
Miss Booker pulls out a box cutter and cuts the duct tape off of Jane's hands, but not her legs. Miss Booker then extends the blade of the box cutter and holds it threateningly.
Okay. Now you get your legs.
Jane takes the tape off and starts walking towards the bathroom. Her mom follows. Jane sneakily reaches down to her keychain, which she has hanging from her pants. Attached to the keychain is a small can of mace. She unhooks the mace and then starts fake coughing.
Are you okay?
Jane turns around and sprays her mom in the face with the mace. Her mom stumbles into the bathroom and washes her eyes out. Jane runs downstairs to her room and locks the door. Her mom starts banging on the door. Jane quickly opens the window, grabs her bag, and then hides in the closet. Her mom goes into another room and grabs a key to open the door. She unlocks the door, runs in, sees the open window. Then she runs upstairs and out the front door. She scans the street for signs of Jane. After finding none, she gets in her car and drives off. Back inside, Jane shakily gets out of the closet, grabs a hoodie, puts some shoes on, and cautiously exits through the window and starts walking to the party. Interior Brian's house, night. James and Tyler are shocked by Jane's story.
Holy shit. Okay, we definitely need to call the cops.
We can't do that.
Why not?
Because my word against my mom's, no one would believe me, especially since I've lied to the cops before so I could get away from her.
Wait, when was that?
Boy. After my dad disappeared, I genuinely thought my mom had killed him, but I didn't have any proof, so I made up a story about how I'd seen her kill him. I said I'd seen her strangle him in his sleep and then bury the body outside in the backyard. You know, cops excavated our entire backyard, but never found anything. I never told them that I made it up, but it was pretty obvious they all knew. My mom then sued the police department for trusting my made up fantasies, and they paid to fix our entire backyard. If I called them today with this story, they'd think it was the same kind of thing, and without any evidence, they'd have to believe her.
Everyone goes silent, thinking.
Brian, since I'm here and all, do you think I get an eighth real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure. I guess. I got my shit in my room. Let's go.
Tyler follows Brian out of the room. James and Jane remain.
So there's no way we can stop your mom without evidence?
I mean, she needs me for whatever she has planned, as long as I stay with Brian, I'll be safe.
She knows you're dating someone named Brian. She doesn't know his last name, but it seems like it's just a matter of time until the cops figure out you're staying here.
Shit.
Your mom said something else too.
James stops, unsure if he should say it.
What is it?
She said she thought Brian was bad for you, that he wasn't treating you right.
Man, fuck her. She doesn't know anything about me. She was probably just trying to manipulate you. That's what she does. Also, who is she to talk about mistreatment? She duct taped me to a fucking chair. Brian is kind. I know you don't know him very well, but you'll see. He's legitimately a great guy.
I believe you.
They sit in silence, comfortable in each other's company.
This is stupid. Like, we just need some evidence of your mom trying to hurt you, then we can take it to the police and you'll be safe, right?
Oh yeah, no, great idea. Let's just like go over to my mom's and you guys can film while she sacrifices me to the devil. Like, sounds like a plan.
What if we got someone else to back up your story? Like your sister. Your sister was home when this was happening.
James, my sister goes to UCLA. She won't be home till summer.
Swear? I definitely heard a girl downstairs when we visited.
Probably just heard the cat. No one else lives there.
What if it was Katie?
Brian and Tyler return from their deal. Tyler has a Ziploc bag sticking out of one of his pockets.
Think about it. Maybe your mom needed Katie for the ritual that she was planning, and so she kidnapped her.
That's insane.
This whole thing is insane. I heard the same girl though. There's definitely someone else in that house.
She could be the evidence you need. And if she's there, we'll be the people who saved Katie Dawson.
You will. I'll be the one whose mom kidnapped Katie Dawson. But if she's there, she needs our help.
So how are we going to save her?
We need a plan to get my mom out of the house so then someone can go in and rescue Katie.
Well, she is after you, so what if...
You're so not going to use me as bait.
Hard cut 2. Exterior, Kensington Hilltop Elementary. Night. Jane and Brian are walking up a hill towards the school. Brian is using his phone as a flashlight.
Are you sure there's no better way to do this?
Don't worry. She won't even have to have a chance to see us. We just have to stay hidden and we'll be fine.
They walk in silence. Brian grabs Jane's hand. They get to the fence and stop. Jane turns to Brian. Suddenly, she hugs him. They hold each other, neither one wanting to let go of the other. Eventually, they release each other.
Are you going to be okay?
I think so.
Brian helps Jane over the fence and follows her over. Brian pulls out his phone and texts Tyler. The text reads, "We're at the school. Are you in position?" Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. Tyler and James, now without his bag, are hiding across the street from Jane's house. Tyler's phone receives the text and it dings. Tyler reads it.
Is it from Brian?
Yeah, they're at the school. Get ready.
Tyler texts back, "Yes, sir." Exterior, Kensington Hilltop Elementary. Night. Brian and Jane are sitting on the play structure with their backs against the railing. Brian receives the text. He reads it.
Okay, they're at the house. You ready to do this?
Yeah.
They stand up. Jane walks to the center of the yard. She is dreading what will come, but knows it's the only way forward. Brian stays back and watches. Jane takes her phone off airplane mode. Then she puts it down on the ground. She goes back to Tyler and they go to hide behind the brick wall next to the multipurpose room. Exterior, Jane's house, night. Ms. Booker is preparing a pentagram made out of crushed charcoal in the backyard. Her phone starts vibrating. She runs over and sees that her daughter's iPhone has come back online and she can track it. She checks the phone's location and then calls someone.
She came back online. She's at the school. Meet me there in 5 minutes.
Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. Tyler and James watch from their hiding spot as Miss Booker gets in her car and leaves. Tyler texts Brian, "She just left. We're heading in."
Let's go.
James and Tyler approach the house and then go down the side to the backyard. On their way, Tyler notices a box of tools at the side of the house. When they get to the backyard, they see a partially finished pentagram.
Yo, what the fuck?
That's some actual satanic ritual shit right there.
Let me take a picture for evidence.
All right, but we got to stay focused.
Tyler takes the picture with flash on and tries to send it to Brian.
Shit.
What?
My phone just died.
It's good. I still have some charge. Jane said there was a sliding door that's always unlocked, right?
Yeah.
James approaches the sliding door and opens it.
We got to be quiet.
Why?
If the person in there isn't Katie, we don't need them knowing we're here.
True.
They enter the house. Exterior, Kensington Hilltop Elementary. Night. Brian and Jane are sitting in their hiding spot with their backs against the building, as opposed to the wall they're hiding behind. Brian checks his phone.
They're in the house.
We should go. We're too close to the phone and there's too much light here.
Yeah, but there's no way she'll see us from there. We just have to stay low.
Brian, listen to me. This is stupid. We need to go.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Let's go.
They get up and quietly but speedily walk towards the locked gate. Jane stops when she gets to the gate.
Do you need a hand?
Jane shushes him and points to the pair of headlights that they can see approaching the school. Then another pair of headlights appear, following the first.
Shit.
Okay, back to the hiding spot.
They run back to their hiding spot. Exterior, Kensington Hilltop Elementary. Night. The two cars pull into parking spaces. Miss Booker gets out of the first car, and a man who 1 week ago kidnapped Katie wearing a ski mask gets out of the other one.
Good to see you.
Ski mask man grunts.
Hmm.
Miss Booker checks her phone. She addresses Ski Mask Man.
It says my daughter's phone is in the main yard. I need you to find her. But remember, I am unharmed. That said, if she's with someone, they're all yours. Now get to work.
Ski Mask Man nods and then goes to the gated entrance. Miss Booker approaches through an open side entrance. She turns down the hallway and heads towards the yard. She walks into the yard and looks for the phone. Jane and Brian wait in suspense. Miss Booker sees Jane's iPhone in the center of the yard and picks it up. She pauses and then thinks for a second. Then she holds down the power button.
Hey Siri, call Brian.
Calling Brian.
Brian's phone starts ringing really loudly in his pocket. Ms. Booker turns to face their hiding spot. Brian pulls out his phone and turns off the ringer, but it's too late. Jane and Brian get up and run to the closed gate. Jane tosses her bag underneath the gate and her hydro flask falls out of it. They climb over the fence. When they do, The ski mask man is waiting for them on the other side. They're trapped.
Jane, run!
Brian gestures to the steep slope next to the hill. She runs down the hill. Brian stays and engages in a fight with Ski Mask Man. Brian lands one punch that doesn't particularly faze the man. Then the Ski Mask Man begins beating the shit out of Brian. Jane turns around to see where Brian is and sees him getting beat up. Brian takes a blow to the face and falls to the ground. Brian crawls towards Katie's bag, which is lying open by the gate. Ski Mask Man steps on his shoulder. Brian reaches for the hydro flask that fell out of the bag. He can't quite reach it. Ski Mask Man grabs Brian's arm and yanks it right out of the socket. Brian screams in pain. And then the Devil's Butcher, or Ski Mask Man, picks Brian up by the neck. Ski Mask Man takes a good long look at Brian as if he's trying to decide how he's going to kill him. Then, out of nowhere, Jane hits Ski Mask Man on the head with her hydro flask, knocking him over. He drops Brian as he falls.
Come on, let's get you out of here.
She helps Brian up and supports him as they go down the hill. Then Ski Mask Man pulls out a throwing knife and snipes Brian right in the back of the head. Brian, who was still being held up by Jane, falls to the ground. Jane turns around.
Brian.
Jane kneels down next to Brian. Blood is oozing out of his wound.
Get up, Brian. Get up.
Brian is dead. Ski Mask Man is quickly approaching. Jane staggers to her feet and tries to run off, but Ski Mask Man grabs her. She elbows him in the face and starts running again. Ski Mask Man catches up to her with ease. He grabs her again and holds her by the neck as he knocks her out with a punch. Miss Booker runs up to them.
What the hell? I said don't hurt her. You incompetent shit. You could have killed her with a punch like that.
Ski Mask Man grunts. He doesn't care.
Load her up. We need to get her home.
All right, and that is the halfway point. So we're going to take a quick break to remind everyone that this Satan Servant read-through is brought to you by Welcome Week, the next great college horror anthology. So yeah, check the link in the description for our Indiegogo page and to learn more about the project. Yeah, I need to drink some water, but y'all are doing a great job reading these roles. Noah, you're good to go.
Yeah, but I noticed that Brian's dead, but
Yeah,
but I'm going. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Pleasure.
can take over for Brian at the end.
It was a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Mhm.
No,
Give it up
Brian's
for
dead.
Noah. Woo, R.I.P.
you.
Brian.
Means a lot. Means a lot.
Mhm. Happy early
Hey, is there-
birthday.
Killed it.
Is there
Thank
anything I should do with the stream while we're at this halfway break?
I think if it's still going strong, we are chilling.
So I don't know. The issue earlier was there's both of these audio mixing things going on. And so when both of them were on, we were hearing an echo, and this one was on, I couldn't be heard. When this one was on, now that this one's off, it's all, I don't know what's up with that. But that's OBS.
Yeah.
It's BS.
I think at this point, I've been recording the Zoom meeting, so we'll have like most of the read through in like good quality through that. And I'll just like post that afterwards for anyone who didn't sit through the live stream. But yeah, I feel like it's going pretty well. Y'all are giving some great performances.
Like this role was made for me.
I know, yeah,
I
doing great.
How long can I change my shirt really quick?
Go for it, yeah.
I'm not wearing any pants.
That's
Play.
lovely.
Stand up, Blake.
I lied. Jack, are you frozen?
No, I
No,
don't
you're not.
think.
You're just very still.
Oh my gosh. No, because I just had a moment of realization. Because tomorrow, the reason Noah just left is because tomorrow is his birthday, but tomorrow is also someone else in the call's birthday. Carlos,
No way.
happy early birthday. Oh my goodness, what a special,
Happy
special
birthday.
day. Noah and Carlos.
That was a pretty good day then, huh?
Yeah, different years, but still a great day.
Same day.
Carlos, I got a question for you. What's it like
Shoot.
hearing Corey read the role that you made iconic?
It's like it really brings a whole new perspective on it. It's like an out of body experience because I was that person for months on end, and now watching someone else embody that role, it's kind of spooky. Like, to tell you the truth.
And then seeing your former scene partner Sean have all his scenes with Noah playing Brian, is that
Yeah.
hard for you, or are you enough detached from the roles that it's okay?
I mean, a little bit, but I mean, these guys are all killing it in their roles, and so you almost forget.
And now to make it more confusing, Sean, is that your shirt from the movie?
It is. I couldn't find my Satan servant t-shirt, so
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, God represent.
the authentic costume instead.
Sean, we were just talking to Carlos about this, but how does it feel to see a role that you made so iconic being portrayed by someone else, by Katie in this instance?
I think Katie's nailing it, and yeah, it's a it's an archetype. It's a caricature that you might be pretty familiar with down in Santa Barbara. So I think yeah, you're nailing it. Good job.
Yeah, when we were casting for this, we really wanted to give people roles that might challenge them a bit to step out of their comfort zone. I think you all are doing a fantastic job. And unless anyone else needs like some water to go to the bathroom, I'm ready to keep going.
I mean,
Jack,
I
do you
will
have
say
any- Any notes for us as our director?
Oh, any notes? Honestly, not really. The one thing I would say is, Sean, sometimes it sounds like you're still playing Tyler when you're reading Jane's lines, but that makes it super entertaining. So, not really a note, just actually not a criticism, just a note.
Noted.
Yeah.
Everyone saw me when you saw it when you said Blake, slow down. So don't worry.
Oh my goodness. No, that was a direct message, Blake.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I'm on the live stream. You don't.
Oh.
I'm streaming on open broadcast software.
Oh my goodness. So embarrassing. But yeah, no, Blake, you took the adjustment great. And now, after that intense first half, let's get into the blood-soaked second half. And hopefully Ethan will be joining us at some point. Okay. Interior, Jane's house, night. Tyler comes down the stairs with absolutely no regard for his noise levels. James is looking for clues in Jane's room. Tyler notices him in there and joins him.
No one's home. Why are you looking in here?
We've looked everywhere else. Maybe Jane isn't telling us everything.
There's a thud in another room.
The fuck was that?
I don't know. It sounded like it came from the room over there.
James gestures to the laundry room across the hall from Jane's room.
Yeah, let's check that room again. Looks like we missed something.
They enter the room.
There's nothing to miss in this room. It's just a washing machine and some junk.
Some muffled grunts come from the back of the room.
Yeah, that's definitely nothing.
They move some boxed up Christmas decorations out of the way and see a small, square, hidden door with a padlock on it.
Holy shit.
We gotta get in there.
James knocks on a door and hears muffled female screaming come from behind it.
How do you even break a lock?
I saw a video where a guy used liquid nitrogen to break one.
Do we have liquid nitrogen?
No.
Well, what's another way to break a lock?
If we shoot it with a gun, I bet it'll break.
Do we have a gun?
No.
What's a realistic way we could open a lock?
Tyler starts looking around. He seems to see something.
We could use the key.
Do we have the key?
Yep.
Tyler holds up the key he just found.
Where'd you get that?
It's just on the hook right there.
Tyler gestures to the hook next to him.
Well, shit. Okay, let's open this up.
Tyler tosses the key to James, who opens the lock. James pulls the door open. Behind it is a long crawl space, big enough for one person to crawl through on their hands and knees. It's too dark for either of them to see the source of the noise, but they can hear her better now.
I'm not going in there.
Move aside. We don't have much time.
James awkwardly moves aside. Tyler goes in. James watches in suspense. Muffled grunts come from the darkness.
Can you see anyone?
I can't see shit. It's pitch fucking black. Hold on, I think I found a light.
Tyler turns on the light. Then he turns to the source of the noise. He looks shocked. Katie, unrecognizable due to the hellish week she has endured, is handcuffed to a post in the crawl space. Her clothes are filthy.
Katie?
Katie tries to say something, but her voice is impossibly muffled by the duct tape. Tyler removes the tape from her mouth.
Get me out of here now. Jane's mom is a psycho. She's going to kill me. You,
She gestures to James.
James, call the cops now.
James pulls out his phone and dials 911. As the phone rings, there's the sound of a garage door opening. James puts down the phone.
Tyler, we have to go. Mrs. Booker is here.
Shit. Oh fuck.
Tyler looks at Katie. Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. Ms. Booker gets out of her car. Ski Mask Man gets out of his car and pulls a barely conscious Jane out of his trunk. He then forcefully leads her into the house. Interior, Jane's house, night. Miss Booker and Ski Mask Man enter the house. Ski Mask Man leads Jane. Blake, you're muted.
Give her to me and go get the other girl.
Ski Mask Man nods and hands Jane over to Miss Booker. Then he starts to head downstairs. Miss Booker detaches the mace from Jane's pants. Interior, Jane's house, lower level, night.
We have to leave her. We don't have enough time to get those cuffs off of her.
We won't let her hurt you.
Wait, take me with.
Tyler puts the duct tape back over Katie's mouth and scrambles out of the crawl space, turning off the light as he exits. Katie screams profanities into the duct tape. Ski Mask Man is at the top of the stairs. He starts slowly descending towards the laundry room. James puts the padlock back on the door. He then returns the key. Tyler waits by the door, checking their exit. He sees Ski Mask Man approaching. James goes up to Tyler, but Tyler stops him from leaving the room because Ski Mask Man would see him. Ski Mask Man is almost at the bottom of the stairs. He's about 5 feet away from them.
While you're down there, could you grab my knife?
Ski Mask Man turns around. James and Tyler quietly run into Jane's room. Ski Mask Man grunts to Miss Booker and then turns back around, but James and Tyler are already hiding in Jane's closet. James left his phone by the secret door in the laundry room. Tyler closes the sliding closet door, but Ski Mask Man hears them. He enters Jane's room to check for people. He looks around, but doesn't see anything. Then he opens the closet. He can't see anybody in there. Satisfied, he goes back to the laundry room. James and Tyler were hiding under some of the blankets in the closet. They now get out of their hiding spot. James reaches down for his phone and realizes he left it in the laundry room.
Fuck, I left my phone in there.
Ski Mask Man enters the laundry room and goes right up to the hidden door. He opens up the lock. He doesn't see James's phone. He goes in and unlocks Katie's handcuffs. Katie starts writhing and screaming through her duct tape. He drags her out of the crawl space. Then he notices James's phone. Katie sees it too. She becomes very distressed. He starts reaching for it, but then Katie headbutts him. Ski Mask Man, surprised, stumbles back, and Katie starts hopping to her freedom. Ski Mask Man quickly regains his balance and pushes her to the ground. He subtly grabs the phone. We barely see him take it. Then Ski Mask Man quickly grabs an exquisite satanic dagger from Miss Booker's room and leads Katie back upstairs. James and Tyler hear that, and then, after a moment, leave the closet in Jane's room and go into the hall.
That was close.
Too close. Let's get out of here.
Tyler starts walking towards the sliding door.
I I gotta grab my phone real quick.
James goes back into the laundry room. Tyler waits out by the sliding door. James goes to where he left the phone, but the phone is gone. James is about to leave when he hears something from upstairs.
I'm gonna kill you, Mom.
James runs over to Tyler.
Go, go, go.
Tyler follows James out of the house. Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. Night. Tyler catches up to James once they are a safe distance from the house.
What the fuck was that?
They got my phone
Shit.
and they got Jane.
How do you know?
I heard Jane's voice come from upstairs.
Did you hear Brian?
No. Our only hope is that my call went through and could be traced back to this house. Otherwise, we're fucked.
Interior, Jane's house. Night. Jane is taped to a chair in the dining room. Again. Her mom is pacing in front of her Katie is on the couch in the adjacent living room, writhing around trying to get out of her handcuffs, but she is helpless. Ski Mask Man is watching Katie to make sure she doesn't go anywhere.
If you don't tell me whose phone this is, I will.
You're gonna what? You've taken everything from me. There's nothing else for you to take.
They see a cop car pull up.
Shit.
Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. Night. James and Tyler watch as a cop gets out of his car and starts walking towards Jane's house.
Holy shit, your call worked.
I can't believe it.
The officer is close to the door.
Jackson to dispatch. I'm at the Booker house. We'll keep you posted.
Oh, roger that, officer.
Interior, Jane's house. Night. Jane and Katie start screaming for help. Katie's scream is muffled by the duct tape on her mouth. Ski Mask Man quickly muffles Jane with his hands. Ms. Booker grabs duct tape and puts it over Jane's mouth. Ski Mask Man picks up Jane in her chair and brings her into another room. Then he comes back and picks up Katie and does the same. There's a knock on the door. Ms. Booker slowly goes to answer. She opens the door. Officer Jackson is there.
Officer Jackson, what can I do for you? Any news on Jane?
Unfortunately, no. We got a call from a phone near this house. Was that you?
I don't think so. Did the caller say anything?
Nothing coherent, but we always investigate these calls. You never know what they can turn up.
Ms. Booker pulls out her phone.
You know what? I think I might have butt dialed 911 by accident. Oh God, that's so embarrassing.
Would you mind if I just took a look around? I just need to be sure nothing is going on. It's protocol.
Of course.
The officer enters the house. He goes into the kitchen and living room, checking for signs of anything criminal.
Have you heard anything new from Jane?
No.
The officer checks the office. He doesn't see anything suspicious.
I'm sure something will turn up. No need to worry. We will find your daughter.
He goes into the TV room and notices some legs under the curtains at the back of the room. Then he hears some muffled voices. He pulls out his gun and approaches the curtains. He pulls them back. Jane and Katie are there with Ski Mask Man attempting to muffle them.
Freeze! Get on the ground!
Miss Booker comes from behind him and stabs him through the neck. Blood oozes out of his wound as he falls to the ground, dead.
Ah, shoot. I just had this rug cleaned.
She looks to Ski Mask Man.
Can you go deal with this mess?
She gestures to the dead cop.
And make sure nobody misses him.
Ms. Booker smiles at Ski Mask Man and walks over to Jane, leaving her knife with Ski Mask Man. Ski Mask Man grunts in the affirmative. The cop's radio starts going off.
This is Dispatcher Jackson. What are we dealing with?
Mrs. Booker pulls out a piece of duct tape and covers Jane's mouth. Ski Mask Man grabs the satanic knife and slices the cop's finger. Jane and Katie watch in horror. He touches some of his finger's blood to the hole in the cop's neck. Then he picks up the radio.
False alarm. It was just a butt dial. Nothing to see. I'm feeling a little sick though, so I think I'm going to call it a night.
Okay, I'll tell Richardson he's on his own. Hope you feel better tomorrow, Jackson.
Me too. Over and out.
Ski Mask Man pulls the cop's body into a dark corner. All right, and we're going to take another quick pause there because we are joined by the co-director of Satan's Servant, an OG Screenager production member, Ethan Gomez Zonley. How's it going, E-Doggy?
Hello, I'm good. I just rushed home from a closing shift. So,
Glad to have you here.
do you want me to take over reading, Jack?
That would be lovely. And this is a quick reminder. We are sponsored by Welcome Week. Check out the Indiegogo page in our description. You know, we got to get that money rolling in so that we can make the ultimate college horror anthology. All right, E-Doggy, whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. Back upstairs. Miss Booker brought the girls back to the dining room. Blake is on mute.
I lost my page.
We're on
Oh, wait,
48.
48.
48.
Now that we're free of distractions, it's almost time to begin your purification in the eyes of my lord.
Miss Booker realizes Jane can't respond because of the duct tape on her mouth. She takes it off.
Mom, please, just let Katie go. She doesn't deserve here to be here. She's never done anything wrong.
No, that's just not gonna happen. She's the only thing that needs to be lost so that you can be re-sanctified. Satan has shown me a way forward for you, a way where you can fulfill your primary purpose in life and become my successor in the Satanic Order.
Katie says something rude under her duct tape.
Why are you doing this to me? Why not make Jennifer the next great Satanist?
Your sister is motivated. She knows what she wants and she knows how to get it. You want to be a broke alcoholic. I won't let that happen.
I don't want to be your successor.
You don't know what the fuck you want. I know what's best for you. When you're left on your own, you just give in to your most primitive, juvenile desires. I'm just trying to set you up for a good life.
Oh, you're doing a great job of that. And for the record, I didn't give in to my desires. It was either that or you would have driven me insane. I chose sanity. You clearly didn't.
How can any mother say sane raising you was hell? You drove me and your father further apart than anything else. This ritual will cleanse you and give you a second chance. Please take it.
I don't want shit from you.
You just don't understand. All of this is going to help you become the woman you're meant to be.
Why do you get to decide the woman I'm meant to be?
Because I'm your mother. Whether you realize it or not, everything you do is because of me. Without me, there is no you. You forced your whole identity as a response to mine. How you dress, how you talk, the guys you fuck. Without me, you wouldn't be you.
Jane doesn't know how to respond. Ski Mask Man comes up from downstairs and leaves the bloody dagger on the dining room table.
Can you finish setting up? I want to get this ritual over with. Tonight has been such a mess.
Ski Mask Man grunts in the affirmative. He grabs Katie and brings her out through the front door to the backyard. Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. James and Tyler see Ski Mask Man carrying Katie.
Well, that cop is probably dead.
It's all on us now. What are we gonna do?
We gotta stop the ritual. I told Kitty we weren't gonna leave her.
Yeah, sure, but how? If Jane's mom is killing cops, what's gonna stop her from killing us?
I don't know, but I'm not just gonna leave them with her. Are you?
No.
Interior, Jane's house, night. Miss Booker and Jane are continuing their conversation in the dining room.
Now, this ritual will begin your process of repurification. By the end, you will be as good as new.
What does Katie have to do with this?
Don't you see? Katie is our sacrifice. She is pure, unlike you, and she will be the perfect gift to appease my lord.
Leave her alone.
You know, if you weren't such a catastrophe, Katie wouldn't have to die. This is all your fault.
You already killed Brian and that cop. Please stop this. The ritual won't fix anything. It'll just make everything worse.
I wouldn't have had to kill them if you didn't run off. If you had just stayed here, Katie would have been the only one dying tonight.
Man, fuck you.
Just calm down. If you just let me do this damn ritual, everything will be all right.
How will everything be right? Nothing's been right since dad left.
Oh, things had been going wrong long before he left.
You know that dad didn't leave because of me, right? Just a couple days before he left, he told me to never trust you. He said you would always prioritize yourself and your desires above others.
No, 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 baby. I prioritized the satanic order over everything. I am a selfless human being. Your dad, on the other hand, was a needy distraction. That's why I chose to sacrifice him to Satan at my coronation.
Jane can't believe it. She tries to form words but can't.
Same goes for your friends. If they get in my way, I'll kill them, and their resistance will just lead to more death.
Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. James and Tyler are planning in their hiding spot.
Okay, so the ritual's probably in the backyard because that's where the black pentagram was, right?
Yeah, we're gonna need some weapons if we want to stand a chance against Satan.
Do you think Satan himself will be there?
No clue, bro, but we gotta prepare like he will be.
We gotta prep hella quick though, because we don't know when the ritual's gonna start.
I mean, it's 10 minutes to midnight. That seems like a safe bet to me.
True. Then we just need some weapons and a plan.
I think I know where we can get some weapons.
Tyler starts walking towards Jane's house.
What about a plan?
Fuck a plan. Just use your brain and improvise.
Tyler walks up to Jane's house and James reluctantly follows. Tyler goes down the side path that goes straight to the backyard. Next to the path, under the stairs to the door, is a wooden box of gardening equipment.
I saw this earlier and was about to steal it. Like, for real. Who just leaves their shit out in the open like this?
It's a safe neighborhood. My family does that too. Also, be quiet. They could hear us.
Tyler is quiet for a few seconds.
I'm robbing your house after this.
Bro, shut up.
James grabs a pair of shears while Tyler picks up a shovel.
You sure you can hurt someone with that thing?
100%.
They stand heroically. Exterior Jane's backyard, midnight. James and Tyler creep down to the backyard. Ski Mask Man is almost finishing laying down the pentagram. Katie, still strained with duct tape, is sitting in a chair. James and Tyler hide in the covered area. James checks his watch. It's 11:55 p.m. Then they hear the sliding door above them open. It's Jane led by Miss Booker. Miss Booker is now wearing a magnificent satanic cloak. Jane looks shaken and has clearly been crying. Miss Booker looks a little shaken too. She is holding the fancy knife she used to kill the cop. She also has an old creepy book.
What are you waiting for? Let's get started.
Ski Mask Man cuts the duct tape off of Katie. He then forces her to lie down in the center of the pentagram. Jane shakily sits her down in the chair. James turns to Tyler.
What the fuck is wrong with Jane?
Tyler is too focused on the ritual to answer. Miss Booker gives Ski Mask Man the knife and he hammers a pike into Katie's wrist. She squirms from the pain, but her mouth is still covered so she cannot make a sound. Ski Mask Man begins to do it on the other side. James and Tyler watch in horror.
We need to do something before he kills her.
Not yet.
Ski Mask Man leaves Katie's legs unrestrained, but any movement causes Katie tremendous pain, so she tries to stay still. Jane watches. She is resigned to the fact that the sacrifice will occur. Ski Mask Man steps back after restraining Katie. He hands the knife to Miss Booker. She pulls out her book.
Okay, here we go.
O Satana hoc nocte congresse somos utibi virginem Katie, sacrificimus postquam hoc sacrificium completum este imploro et fila mea Jane, de pacetus eas purificata, in tempore futuro nosticat, ave Satana.
Miss Booker puts down the book and grabs the knife.
Give me your hand, Jane.
Jane submissively extends her hand. Miss Booker slices through the palm of her hand with the knife. Jane squirms in pain.
Something is definitely wrong with Jane.
Miss Booker leads Jane over to the pentagram and makes her drip the blood from her hand onto Katie. Ski Mask Man watches intently. James is waiting for Tyler to go.
What are we waiting for?
We'll all be killed if we go too soon. Trust me.
James reluctantly crouches back down. Miss Booker starts painting a pentagram on Jane's forehead with the red substance that comes in a jar.
What's that?
Oh, blood.
Jane gags a little. Miss Booker finishes the pentagram and goes back to where her book is. She picks it up.
O Satana ante pietas mea egregressimas est placia tibi sacrificium meum accipere ut filia mea purificare possit. Deende ilia mihi successor proximus fiat nunc nisi aliqui improbat puellum occidam.
James is getting impatient.
They're gonna be dead if we don't do something soon.
Shut up and wait.
What are we waiting for?
Shh.
Fuck it, I'm going.
Bro, I'm telling you, this is not the move.
James sneaks over to the side of the yard where Jane is. Jane notices him and starts panicking. She starts gesturing that he needs to leave. James doesn't understand and waves at her. Miss Booker, done reciting the incantation, grabs the knife and slowly approaches Katie. Katie is terrified but can't move. James, seeing an opportunity, sneaks over to the chair Jane is taped to. Tyler gestures to him to go back, but James doesn't listen. He steps a little too heavy and makes a noise. Miss Booker pauses. James, out in the open, freezes. Miss Booker turns around. James, now hidden from her view, is hiding behind Jane's chair. Miss Booker starts approaching the chair.
Is someone hiding back there?
Tyler loudly walks into the backyard with false confidence. Miss Booker turns.
Oh, hey, Miss Booker. I heard some noises and just wanted to make sure you were okay.
Miss Booker doesn't know how to react. She lowers the knife. James sticks his head out from behind Jane's chair.
Hey,
Is this your big plan?
She gestures to Tyler.
no, we don't really have one.
Oh, look, you found Jane and Katie. Wow, and it looks like you're gonna sacrifice Katie to the devil. All right.
Tyler pauses, unsure of what to say.
You two need to leave now.
We aren't leaving here without you and Katie.
They turn back to Tyler.
Well, I guess you seem to have anything under control. I'll just head out.
Tyler sprints back the way they came.
Get him.
Ski Mask Man runs after Tyler. Miss Booker turns around and sees James talking to Katie.
Get away from my daughter.
Miss Booker runs at James with the knife. Jane, realizing she can save James, gets up and puts herself between her mom and James.
Stay away from him.
She punches Miss Booker right in the face. She turns to James.
Go help Tyler.
Exterior sidewalk near Jane's house, night. Tyler emerges from the staircase at the side of the house with the shovel. He runs and hides behind the tall bush. He's waiting for Ski Mask Man to pass the telephone pole. Ski Mask Man emerges from the same spot. He's looking for Tyler. Tyler holds his shovel as a weapon. He is nervous. Ski Mask Man is looking. Tyler is panicking. Then Ski Mask Man's hand stabs through the bush and he grabs Tyler by the throat. Tyler struggles to break free of Ski Mask Man's grasp and falls to the ground. Tyler has given up with the shovel and is now stumbling backwards, grabbing rocks and throwing them at Ski Mask Man. One of them hits Ski Mask Man right in the face, but he doesn't flinch. James comes up to Ski Mask Man and tries ineptly to cut off Ski Mask Man's arm with the shears. Ski Mask Man, unfazed, knocks him down and the shears fly away. James notices that Ski Mask Man broke the shears in half when he knocked them away. James picks up both halves and holds them like two swords.
Tyler!
And James tosses one of the half shears to Tyler. Tyler catches it and they proceed to attack the now overwhelmed Ski Mask Man. James manages to stab Ski Mask Man on the side of his torso. Ski Mask Man emits an inhumane shriek and pulls out the half shear. Then he uses the handle of the shear to knock James off of his feet. James is really winded and can't immediately get up. Exterior, Jane's backyard, night. Jane and her mom are in a standoff. Katie is still stuck to the pentagram.
Let Katie go. You're done.
Don't you see? This is just another disruption. All this means is that more of your friends will have to die because of you.
Jane doesn't know what to say.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to finish this damn ritual.
Miss Booker goes back to Katie and tries to stab her. Jane blocks the knife by shoving her hand in front of it. The knife becomes lodged in her hand. Miss Booker lets go of it in shock. Jane pulls the knife out of her hand and then it's now covered in her blood. She brandishes it at her mom.
Back the fuck up.
Miss Booker backs up. Jane kneels down and starts pulling Katie's pikes out of the ground.
Don't touch those. It's too late to turn back. We have to sacrifice her, or Satan will take all of us. If we don't finish this, we are all dead.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine, thanks.
Jane finishes freeing Katie. Katie, with pikes still inserted into her wrists, struggles to get up. Jane gives her a hand.
I'm gonna go call the cops.
Katie hobbles into the house. Jane hears the ski mask man shriek.
My audio just completely cut out.
Jane hears ski mask man shriek.
Shit.
She turns to her mom.
Stay here.
Jane runs off, leaving Miss Booker alone. Exterior sidewalk near Jane's house. James is trying to get up. His vision is blurring and he can barely hear anything. He can't move his arm. He looks up and sees Tyler standing there defending James from the ski mask man. Tyler is giving it everything he's got, but that clearly isn't enough. James begins to regain movement in his hand. Tyler gets knocked to the ground and is trying to crawl away, but ski mask man won't let him. Ski mask man slams his face into the concrete. Tyler is limp.
No.
James still can't get up, but his arm is waking up. Ski mask man turns to him. He starts walking towards James. Tyler starts getting up in the background. Ski mask man gets to James. He looks down at James, studying him. Ski mask man tries to kick James, but at the last second, James blocks it with his weak arm. Then Tyler comes up behind Ski Mask Man and knocks him over with his half shear. He then proceeds to repeatedly stab Ski Mask Man in the chest with the shear. Blue blood is spraying everywhere. Then Ski Mask Man catches the spear and twists it out of Tyler's hand. He then slams Tyler into the ground. Jane runs up and sees what's happening from the top of the side staircase. She's too far to do anything. She is still holding her mom's dagger. Ski Mask Man grabs Tyler's head and rips it off in all of its bloody glory. Jane, distraught, runs towards Ski Mask Man with the knife, but he knocks her out with a punch. The knife skids away. James, now feeling a little better, realizes this is his moment. He runs to the knife. Ski Mask Man sees him and starts running towards it too. James barely gets there first. He grabs the knife and decapitates Ski Mask Man in one smooth motion. Ski Mask Man's blue blood covers James' face. Ski Mask Man's body collapses. His head thuds to the ground. James is distraught. He goes to check if Jane is okay, putting down the knife when he gets there. He shakes her and she wakes up.
What happened?
It's over now. Is Katie okay?
She went to call the cops. She's probably done by now.
What about your mom?
She's in the back.
I'm gonna go keep an eye on your mom until the cops get here.
James walks down to the side of the house to go back to the backyard. He sees something and a look of dread spreads over his face. Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house. Purgatory. Jane is sitting against a telephone pole. A mysterious figure walks up to Jane. It's Brian with his arm in a sling. Jane notices him.
Brian?
Jane?
She gets up and hugs him.
I thought you were dead.
She feels something wet when she hugs him and pulls away. Her hand is soaked with blood.
What the hell?
She realizes the blood came from the open wound in the back of Brian's head.
Brian, you're hurt.
Really? I feel fine.
Then Brian explodes into a big bloody mess. Jane gasps and starts retching. As she's retching, someone else comes up and puts his hand on her shoulder. It's Tyler. His head has been sloppily reattached.
You okay, Jane?
What is this? What's going on?
That's okay. You're just being purified. This is the last step.
Wait, no, I stopped the ritual. This shouldn't be happening. There must have been a mistake.
She turns to look at Tyler. He looks at her and slowly shakes his head. Tyler explodes. Another figure is approaching Jane. It's a middle-aged man with a blood-stained shirt. Jane sees him and recognizes him instantly.
Dad?
She runs over to him and gives him the biggest hug.
I've missed you so much.
Me too.
They let go of each other.
There's so much I want to tell you.
You'll get your chance. But right now, we're together. I'm so proud of the way that you stood up to your mom. That was something I could never do.
But I'm still being purified. I couldn't stop her.
That's fine. You still have your whole life ahead of you. No one could have expected you and your friends to do everything you did tonight.
You were watching me?
Of course.
Jane starts tearing up. So does her dad.
You should probably back up a little, you know. Right now, you're in the splash zone.
Jane laughs through her tears and steps back a little. Then she watches her father explode in front of her. Another person approaches her. They are limping. This person is only visible by their silhouette. When they step into the light, Jane looks shocked.
No. You can't be here. You're not dead.
Katie looks up, revealing her slit throat. Interior, exterior, Jane's house, night. Katie enters the house through the back door. She runs upstairs and finds the phone in the office. She dials 911.
911, what's your emergency?
I was kidnapped and almost sacrificed by a Satanist. Please send cops to 232 California Street. This is not a joke.
Okay, just stay calm.
I swear to God.
Okay, just stay calm. Is the Satanist in the house?
Miss Booker's in the doorway with a knife. Katie doesn't see her.
No, we have her.
Miss Booker slits Katie's throat. Then Miss Booker picks up Katie and carries her to the back deck.
Thank you, Katie.
She drops Katie off the edge. Katie's body lands at the pentagram. The ritual is complete. The second that Katie's body hits the ground, Jane's eyes turn white. Exterior, Jane's backyard, night. James looks disbelievingly at the scene in the backyard. Katie is dead in the center of the pentagram. Her body is contorted in a strange way. Her throat has been slit. James falls to the ground in anguish. Exterior, sidewalk near Jane's house, night. Ms. Booker leaves the house. As she goes to the garage to get her car, she notices Jane's body. Devastated, she runs over. She is holding Jane's body in her arms as the cops arrive. She has given up. Sidewalk near Jane's house, Purgatory. Jane and Katie are standing opposite each other.
I'm so sorry. I never believed my mom was capable of what she did to you.
Yeah, me neither. What do you think you're going to do when you get back to your life?
Honestly, I have no idea. Got any tips?
For starters, don't become friends with someone whose mom worships the devil.
Jane smiles.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
They pause, unsure of what to say.
Can you do me one favor?
Yes, of course.
Can you check in on my parents and make sure they're okay after this?
Jane nods.
Goodbye, Jane.
Bye, Katie.
Katie explodes. Jane looks around and there's no one else there. Sidewalk near Jane's house. Jane, bathed in red and blue light, is still unconscious in her mother's arms. Then her eyes return to normal. She starts breathing again. Fade to black. Exterior cemetery, dream. A flat gravestone with the name Brian Daniels engraved on it sits in a grassy field. A hand reaches down and places the flower on it. The hand belongs to Jane. She is standing in the middle of the cemetery remembering Brian. A figure approaches her from behind.
You know, I'd assumed that my girlfriend would be one of the first people to visit my grave, but I guess I was wrong, since you didn't even care enough to show up at the funeral.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Couldn't what? Couldn't bear to face my grieving family? Couldn't deal with the consequences of your actions like an adult? I died for you. And while I wasn't exactly expecting daily visits, I still can't believe that you abandoned me.
I'm so sorry.
That's not enough anymore.
With that line, Brian grabs her neck and begins to strangle her. There's pure anger in his eyes. Jane is gasping for air, but coming up short.
This is what you get. This is what you deserve.
Jane begins to lose consciousness. Jane's bedroom. Night. Jane, who is on an inflatable mattress, wakes with the start. She's scared and breathing heavily. Text appears on the screen stating that a month has passed since the ritual. Jane turns to the bed next to her. James is in it. He is asleep. She gets out of bed and leaves the room. As she leaves, she makes a noise and wakes up James. James' kitchen. Jane is standing in the well-lit kitchen drinking some water. James walks in.
Oh, you can't sleep either?
No, I was sleeping just fine, but you woke me up when you left my room.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, don't worry about it. Did you have another bad dream?
Yep. Yeah.
I wish I had bad dreams.
Why?
Because that's fucking normal after everything we've gone through.
Jane is taken aback.
Sorry. It just feels like I can't grieve like everyone else. It just doesn't work like that for me. Like I still feel like shit, but then I go off and get a perfectly nice night of sleep. Like I feel like I should be more distraught.
Yeah, but it's different for you
How?
because it wasn't your fault. If I had just listened to my mom, Katie would be the only one dead. All I did by trying to stop her was cause more death.
You can't think about it like that. They knew it would be dangerous, but they weren't just going to sit back and let Katie die. Because of them, tomorrow your mom will be going to prison and you're going to be free from her forever.
They didn't need to die for that to happen.
I know.
James leaves. Jane is alone. Knock, knock, knock. Jane turns towards the door. She starts walking to it. She opens the door and doesn't see anyone. There's a car across the street with its lights on. Jane recognizes it. She steps towards the car, but then her foot bumps into something. Jane looks down. There's a box with her name written on it. The car drives away. Jane picks up the box and notices that the bottom is damp. She brings it inside and is about to open it when the phone starts ringing. Jane goes and picks it up.
Hello?
She pauses and listens.
Yeah, it's me.
She pauses for a while as a look of dread spreads across her face. She looks nervously at the box.
Yeah, I think I might have seen her.
She pauses again.
Okay, I will.
Jane hangs up and goes to lock the front door. She then walks slowly towards the box. She opens it. Inside is her mom's satanic dagger. Its blade has a fresh layer of blood on it. Jane picks up the knife. Then she notices something below it. It's a folded letter. She unfolds the letter, reads it, and shakily puts it down. Distant police sirens can be heard approaching.
James? James?
Jane runs off to James's room. He is standing in the doorway. He looks very tired.
What?
She escaped.
Wait, what do you mean?
Back in the kitchen, the letter, partially covered in blood, reads, "See you soon. With love, Mom." Cut to black. The end.
Woo.
Yay!
Whoa! Satan's serving everybody.
Mhm.
What a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great job with the performance, everyone. That was
great.
masterful.
I always forget how insane the ending is. Like every
Yeah.
time I watch it, and then it's just so good. It's so brutal.
So much. I was noticing so many typos and stuff this time. That was very painful.
It always
I-
happens. Always.
I kept
It's-
on thinking there's so many things in this that made me think of Friday the 13th, the game. And that's not just because I've been playing it lately, but like even splitting the shears. Like, oh, yeah. And speaking of which, sorry, but I don't know why Steam was notifying me, but it suddenly popped up during the stream. Lightning McQueef is playing Friday the 13th, the game. Very sorry about that. Steam was closed. I don't know why it did that, but yeah, Lightning McQueef.
Good to know.
Nice.
Thank you, Blake. Yeah, no, that was beautifully done. very impressed with everyone's acting abilities. Ethan, did you gain anything from reading through the last bit? Did it give you any perspective or anything?
It well, it made me notice a few errors that I remember noticing while we were on set, and then be like, oh, I remember those. And as well as it was, I don't know, it's kind of fun reading it, knowing what the final film turned out to be and kind of the changes we had to make. Just certain like small things, like for example, at the very end, like it doesn't say her, because it says in the script that her name is on the box, but in the movie the box doesn't have her name on it. She opens it and then she sees her name. There's small stuff like that, which I thought was interesting that we decided to change, but it was really fun. And I am glad that I got to read for a little bit. Sorry I was late, everyone.
Totally understandable.
You guys did the thing.
yeah.
You made a movie in high school. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah. On a budget like you raised all by yourself. Like that's crazy.
So now imagine what you're gonna do with 5 times that.
Exactly.
So true.
Imagine in the future too.
We'll see. I don't know. I remember when like we finished the movie, I felt like we'd like peaked and we would never make anything better. But then now, having read the Welcome Week script, I can assure you that Satan's Servant is just the beginning, right, you doggy?
If you're a big Satan Servant fan, or if you're a Satan Servant hater, Welcome Week, it's a huge step up. I think it's gonna blow everyone's mind. I'm in love with the script. I'm very excited to show you guys what we've been working on. So check out that donation link if you haven't already.
This past week, we spent over $400 on props and like gore effects and just like weapons, bloody chests. There's so much gore in this upcoming movie. It's gonna be so cool. I'm so excited. It's gonna make Satan's Servant look like Paddington 2. But like not in terms of quality, in terms of like amount of gore.
Paddington 1.
Paddington 1's still really good.
Servants do look like the best movie of all time.
Jack, what were we talking about for my prop? I'll follow up with you on that.
Okay, yeah.
No
But
spoilers.
hey, Welcome Week, it's got more gore, it's got more heart. It's, you know, we have so many different amazing talent working on this film. All the shorts are so incredible, and I think it's going to be something really special.
Definitely. Real quick, while we're all still here and still live, Katie, I was curious if reading the Satan's Servant script, you're obviously a very good screenwriter, as anyone who's read the Falling Into Place script would know. What was did you get anything out of this experience, or was this just like so far below your level of writing that you were just like, ugh, whatever?
No, absolutely not. This was such a joy to read, and especially to embody the character of Tyler, who I feel like is so far beyond my own personality. But it was super fun to read. And I think reading it for the first time and having seen just bits and pieces of the movie itself, it really kind of helped me understand what the whole tone of Welcome Week should be. But I'm really excited to see what you and Ethan have put together for the overarching story. But yeah, no, it was super fun. It was really good.
Glad you
Awesome.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Carlos and Sean, what are your thoughts reading the script from a different perspective? Sean, if you want to start.
Yeah, with the stable Wi-Fi. It feels a little goofy, to be honest. Like the script was like, I don't know. I just remember changing a lot of it and how different a lot of the lines were from the final cut, especially in the same vein as what you were saying earlier. We had that one line about like the dog, like we had to like calm down a dog at Brian's house, and we just couldn't really get a dog to like cooperate with us to do a scene like that. That was gonna be a whole jump scare too. It's gonna be like the dog like jumps out and starts barking, and that's really hard to do. Animals are hard to work with.
Especially your animals.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, we filmed that scene in the movie at Sean's house. So
Yeah, Brian's house is my house. But yeah, this was like a fun read through, and it's cool reading it from a different perspective and being in scenes that I wasn't even in the original or production. Yeah.
mhm.
Carlos, what about you?
I rejoined the meeting. Is it any better?
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
good right now.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see the whole movie from that perspective. You kind of get a bird's eye view of the whole thing. You know, you get to see the character you played, the character Sean played, and it's all shuffled around like that. You're kind of just seeing them as the characters and not like you and your friends. So that's kind of an interesting, you know, separation that we were able to pull off by doing it like that. And also, it's pretty fun to play Ski Mask Man. If that had been me, I would have had a lot less trouble memorizing my lines. Ski Mask Man and Katie at the same time is a tall order, but it was really fun, and I enjoyed everyone watching. I enjoyed watching everyone act. Everyone was amazing, and it was really a great time.
Like, I totally get what you're saying with seeing it from a different perspective. Like you're seeing the characters just as like just characters that have been screenwritten instead of just like, oh, I'm here to do this specific thing. I don't know. Good point. Big ups, big snaps.
Beautiful. And then Blake, your performance as Ms. Booker will go down in history as just peak cinema. Can you talk about how you approached that character?
Wait, hold up. Wait, props to you, Blake, for doing the Latin so well.
Oh, thanks. If you put on a deep voice, they can and sound confident. It doesn't matter if you actually read it right. So how did I approach I've seen the movie and it's I remember it very well. But I'm like thinking kind of like, well, for this read through, let's just try and be more comedic. And so that was about it. I'm a crazy murderer who is funny. And I just harken back to all of my favorite funny man murderers, such as Freddy Krueger and Chucky the Killer Doll, and the funniest of them all, Hannibal Lecter. Real knee slapper, that guy. That's all I really did.
I felt like you were really serving like Aunt Martha, Pam Voorhees energy.
Yeah, I can see that. Do you hear that? I think the Devil's Butcher is at my door. Come in. Hello there. What do you want? You forgot. They forgot to bring me food. Anyway.
So sad.
You want to ask Corey something?
Corey, let's see. So you've obviously seen the movie before, and was there anything that surprised you about the screenplay?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it was really interesting to read it because I'd never read the screenplay before. I've seen the movie multiple times, but it's really cool to see like how much personality, like how much of your voice shows through in the script, because you can see that in Welcome Week 2, even though like your writing has changed so much, the style is still so clear, and I can really see like how much of you is in this film. It's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. Anyone else have anything they want to share before we wrap this up?
Just reading those lines makes me feel like I'm talking to high school Jack.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Something they keep on hitting on in every interview that you did, which is like 2, I think, but it was the dialogue that's like, I'm just so surprised you didn't say this shit's bussin'. But I enjoy it.
I want to say that we wrote that before like that phrase was popular.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like you
think it
can tell
was.
that it was written at its time.
Yeah.
but it was
The
getting
period
there. We're
piece.
coming up on bus, but it hadn't quite reached the vernacular of the average use yet.
Maybe in Welcome Week, we can.
Oh, you never
have
know.
it.
Just you wait.
If someone says bussin', they better die.
I mean, you need to find an actor with like curly hair, $5 chain, but I think you can pull it off.
Exactly.
Also, Jack and Ethan, I can't believe you guys made Katie and I read our roles in front of like the actors that originated them.
You're welcome.
Why would you
That's
do that
gotta be
to
very
us? That's so
intimidating.
I
stressful.
mean,
Mhm,
No pressure. I mean, you guys nailed it.
mhm.
You guys killed it.
So
It was-
honored.
It was fun. I don't know, seeing all the roles switch. I
Yeah.
wish I could have came earlier, but it was fun.
Mhm.
I'd
Yeah, you
watch
can
this
watch the
past-
recording.
I will.
What other crew members are kind of out there that you might want to shout out that aren't here?
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Well, our Satan Servant crew members, there were so many people who really made that script come to the screen. Just off the top of my head. Anna, Emily, Jojo, Gary, my mom, Anne,
Garrett.
Aaron, who else? All the people at the party scene, Cooper. It wasn't the biggest crew, but
Billy.
they all killed it. Yeah.
My dad.
Oh yeah, Ethan Zad, the sound god.
Yeah, shout out for the sound
Mhm.
mix.
And then there were some Welcome Week crew people who also couldn't be here today. But Ryan, Lenny, Noah now, but he was there in the beginning. We love you all. You're doing great work.
Yes.
And yeah, my final question to close this off. Katie, do you feel like you should have played the character that was named Katie? Or would that have been too obvious?
I gotta give it to Carlos. I think he did a fantastic performance. You know what? I'm very happy with my character, Tyler. Very, very proud of the performance there. And I hope to see you at the Oscars.
I think, Katie, I think you embody a good alternate universe Tyler well. So,
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My multiverse alter ego.
yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to everyone for coming out. This has been great. Blake, thank you so much for taking over the live stream. That was a whole thing. But you did a great job coming in clutch there.
Yeah, sorry that my Steam notifications popped up.
No worries. Awesome. Yeah, Blake, you are good to end the stream now. Bye,
Okay.
viewers.
Actually, I'm
Everyone,
just
thank
gonna
you all
keep
for
ranting
joining.
about it, guys. I have a few